These are pinwheels that you can make up yourself for a quilt, and I'm just going to show you now how to make the pinwheel. You'll need your backing fabric or your second section in your pinwheel, which I've chosen an off-white with little music notes on, and for the purpose of this exercise I've chosen just a plain purple. You will put right sides together. I've cut a square. You can do them any size of course you like. Mine is 8 inches square, and what I'm going to do is I will pin that, and I'm going to stitch 1/4 inch, a generous 1/4 inch around all sides. You don't have to leave any gaps or anything, you just stitch all the way around 1/4 inch. I've used purple thread so that you can see better. Now all I'm going to do now is I'm going to draw a line from corner to corner where my stitching meets, just a pencil line. I'll turn it around and do one going the opposite way, just from corner to corner diagonally. So I've got 4 sections now marked out, and I'm going to cut along that line again, corner to corner. Line it up again. If you can cut without moving it, I'm moving it so that you can see, but if you can cut without moving it, it is a little bit better. So now I'm going to cut from corner to corner the opposite way. So I've got 4 cuts now, and to make my pinwheel I'm going to fold out each section, makes a square. I'm pushing my seam to the dark side. I'm going to go and press them, all 4. Just get that out. Give them a good press, as I said, with the dark side out, and then I'll come back and show you how to put them together. I've pressed them out all the way around so you've got a nice even seam, but just snip off these little corner pieces because they can get in the way of you getting a nice neat seam. So that's what we ended up with. Let's cut that one off there, and that one off there. So that was how we folded it out. Now to make our pinwheel we need to have one going that way and one going that way, one going that way and one going that way. Now as I said, I've cut this larger for the benefit of the exercise and showing you how they go together, but you can make them, I made 5-inch ones for my last quilt. You can make them any size you like. So all I've got to do now is I must flip this over, do the top 2 first and then the bottom 2. I'm going to use a generous 1/4 inch seam. I'm going to sew down to there, sew this one together, which will make a top and a bottom, and then I will join those 2 together as well. So I'll come back when I've just done these 2 and then we'll join the top and the bottom together. I have pressed my seams open flat because there's a reason for that, because when you come to quilt all of these seams join in the middle here, and it's very, very tough to quilt over or quilt through or stitch through. So you'll see that I have got my generous 1/4 inch left for my seam. Now I've joined them both together. That one also I've pressed open, So the next step, I will put one on top of the other, line these two seams up, and I will pin that. I'll pin that together. Going through the seam. So when I now stitch across here, that's my last row of stitching, it will come out perfectly even in the middle. I've pressed this out again, my seams on the outside here. I've pressed them flat again, as I said, for the purpose of quilting, so that you don't have too many thicknesses. That's nice and flat. Now, squaring up your blocks, now yours will all be different sizes probably, but this is a diagonal line. On your square ruler you have a diagonal line. Try to keep that line as close as possible. Now that will vary just a little bit, probably out to the edges, and then all you have to do with that is cut the side, keeping that line as close to the diagonal as you can. And then you turn your block round, and again using the diagonal as your guide. You can trim the other two edges. Which means you will have a really nice square. And that's how you make a pinwheel. And you can cut those at any size. I've used the bigger block, as I said, for the demonstration, but you could use a 6.5 inch, or you could use a 5 inch. I used 5 inches on this quilt. I used 5 inch squares on that because you need much smaller pieces of fabric, of course. And that's how you make a pinwheel block.